Case File 93, the Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa. They say 8 people were murdered here in 1912, but the archive doesn't care about the dead. It cares about Hannah, who entered for 17 minutes and never truly left. He opened his mouth to scream. Nothing came out. His throat had become a hallway with no doors. Case File number 93. Villisca Axe Murder House, Iowa. The archive does not explain. It only records. On June 9, 1912, 8 people were murdered in their beds. The killer was never found. The house has been empty ever since. But the archive does not care about the 8. The archive cares about the one who came after. Do you want to know why? Her name was Hannah, 24 years old. She entered the house at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. She left at 2:17 p.m. 17 minutes. But the house kept her. Not her body. Her reflection. The moment you hear the name of that house, it already knows yours. This case file has no known closing entry. Now you know why. They told her the tour was safe. They lied. Hannah stepped through the front door. A blistering Iowa summer afternoon. The house sat on a quiet street like a tooth that should have been pulled decades ago. She felt it immediately. Not cold. Not pressure. A smell. Old wood. Old blood. And beneath that, sweet. Wrong. Powdered sugar on a dead girl's birthday. The tour guide pointed to the children's room. The youngest victims were 8 and 6. They were found here. Side by side, Hannah looked at the wall. Marks. Small. Dark. Not paint. Not rust. She touched one without thinking. The wall was warm. Human warm. Pulse warm. The group moved downstairs. Hannah stayed. She does not remember making that choice. She remembers the hallway lengthening. She remembers the stairs changing. 11 steps. Then 14. Then 9. She counted 3 times. 3 different numbers. Then the children's bedroom door, the one the guide had closed, was open again. She walked inside. The room was empty. But the closet door was shaking. Not rattling. Shaking. As if something small was pressing against it from the inside. Not trying to escape. Trying to keep something out. She stepped closer. The shaking stopped. Then a child's voice whispered from inside the closet. Not a name. A number. 1912. The year the parents stopped screaming. The year the children started laughing instead. She ran downstairs. Caught the group in the kitchen. Someone asked if she was okay. She said yes. But her hand, the one that touched the wall, was covered in dust. No. Ash. And beneath the ash, written on her palm in letters that had not been there before, a single word, stay. She scrubbed it in the car. The ash faded. The word remained. And the skin underneath stayed cold. As if someone had pressed ice against it too long. That night. Her apartment. 40 miles from Villisca. She lay in bed with the lights on. At 2 a.m., the lamp went out. Not the power. Just her lamp. She turned. The bulb was cold. Not off. Cold. As if something had sucked the heat out of it. Then she heard it. Not breathing. Footsteps. Small. Barefoot. Running across her kitchen floor. She lived alone. On the 3rd floor. She did not sleep. At 6 a.m., she looked at her palm. Stay was still there. Beneath it, smaller, newer, pressed into her skin like a brand, a second word. Forever. She drove back to Villisca the same morning. The words, "Stay forever," weren't just on her skin, they were a command she couldn't ignore. She found herself driving back to Iowa before she even realized she had the keys in her hand. She did not tell anyone why. She did not know how. The house was open for tours again. She paid at the door. Walked upstairs alone. The children's bedroom was silent. She stood in the center of the room. Waited. Nothing. She turned to leave. The door closed. Not slammed. Softly. As if a child had pushed it with one finger. She tried the handle. Did not move. Pushed. Nothing. Kicked. The wood did not vibrate. Then the breathing started. Behind her. Inside the room. You said you would play with us. Small. Wet. From the corner where light did not reach. You said you would come back. You promised. She turned. The corner was empty. But the floor was not. Written in the same dark substance that covered the walls, fresh, glistening, pulsing, 3 words. You are one now. She screamed. Pounded the door. It opened. The tour guide stood on the other side. Looked past her into the empty room. There's no one in there. You need to leave. She looked at her palm. Stay was gone. Forever was gone. A new word had replaced them. Smaller. Older. Pressed so deep into her skin that it looked like a birth defect. Mine. She became sick over 2 weeks. Not a cold. Not the flu. A wasting sickness. 20 pounds gone. Skin turned gray. She stopped sleeping because every time she closed her eyes, she dreamed she was lying in a small bed in a small room. And she was not alone. Something small lay beside her. Breathing. Waiting. Her mother took her to a doctor. Nothing wrong. Then to a pastor. The pastor prayed. The cold spot on Hannah's palm moved to her chest. Then her throat. Then behind her eyes. The pastor stopped praying. His hands shook. Something attached itself to her in that house, he said. Something that knew her name before she was born. It has been waiting. Not 20 years. Longer. She did not choose the house. The house chose her. It will not leave until she takes their place. Hannah heard this from the next room. She did not cry. She had forgotten how. That night. Her apartment. 2 a.m. The lamp went cold again. She did not look at the window. She could hear breathing. Not from outside. From inside her closet. She had never nailed her closet shut. But she had stopped opening it 3 weeks ago. She had forgotten why. Now she remembered. She was 6 years old. She had woken to a small hand holding her own. The closet door was open. 2 children stood inside. A boy and a girl. No eyes, but mouths. Smiling. They said, "You're going to forget us, but we'll remember you. And when you come back, we'll be here." She had closed the closet door the next morning. Never told anyone. Now, at 24 years old, their voices came again. Not from the closet. From inside her skull. You came back. Just like we knew you would. She opened her mouth to scream. Nothing came out. Her throat had become a hallway with no doors. Then she felt it. 2 small hands. Cold. Pressing against her chest. Right over her heart. Not pushing. Not pulling. just resting, measuring, deciding whether to take it. The hand squeezed once. She passed out. She woke at noon. Her mother stood over her, crying. "Why is the closet door open?" Hannah looked. The door was open 6 inches. Through the gap, something small and pale. Not hands. A face. 2 faces. Pressed against the inside of the closet door. Child-sized. Smiling. No eyes. She tried to speak. The words would not come. Not because she was scared. Because something was sitting on her chest. Not heavy. Cold. Very cold. It put its fingers over her mouth. One by one. Slowly. "Shush," it whispered. "The others are sleeping." There was no one else in the apartment. The pastor performed a binding. The cold spot faded. The closet door stayed closed for 3 months. She moved to a different city. New apartment. New name. But sometimes, late at night, she feels them. Small hands on her chest. Not squeezing. Just resting. As if they are still deciding. And sometimes, when she walks past a dark room, she hears footsteps. Small. Barefoot. Running across floorboards that have not existed for over 100 years. She does not turn around. She knows what she will see. 2 children. A boy and a girl. Standing in a doorway. Smiling with mouths that have forgotten how to close. They are not waiting for her to die. They are waiting for her to come back. The Villisca Axe Murder House is still standing. Tours run daily. The gift shop sells keychains. Couples take photographs on the lawn. But the children's bedroom is still cold. The closet door still opens by itself. And at 2 a.m., footsteps still run across the upstairs floor. Not because the children are playing. Because they are practicing. Case file number 93 remains open. The archive does not close case files. It only waits. You heard her name tonight. You are listening to these words. She knows because she has been standing behind you since the moment you heard case file number 93. Not in the room. Inside the space between your spine and your skin. 2 small hands raise 1 finger to 2 small lips. Shish. Do you hear it? The footsteps. They are getting closer.